That is so creamy. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. Today we're gonna make a healthy version of a cheddar and broccoli soup. Super creamy, super delicious, and extremely easy to make, and I make it right in the Ninja Foodi cold and hot blender. So we only need a few ingredients, and I'm gonna go over those as I add them to the blender. So the first thing I'm gonna add is 2 cups of chicken stock. Now, if you wanted to make this vegetarian, use vegetarian stock, use the vegetable stock. Or there's a wonderful vegetable base that I get on Amazon. Oh my gosh, it's so full of flavor. I will definitely link to that below in the description for you guys. It is superb, and I use it in some of my other recipes. All right, the next thing we're gonna add in is our broccoli and our cauliflower. Now you can see I have 2 different bowls of broccoli here because I've reserved 4 ounces to go in a little bit later, so you get those chunks of broccoli in your soup. If you want it all smooth, you add it in right now. All right, so 4 ounces reserved for later. Now I have a combination of 12 ounces of cauliflower florets and 8 ounces of broccoli florets. I don't worry about cutting them up too much. I just sort of break them up a little bit. If they're real big like this, then sometimes they're a little bit harder to blend. So I just sort of break them up, but I don't worry about chopping them thin. The blender will do that for us. And then I just dump them in. And we'll get our seasonings in, our cheese in, and get our smooth soup setting. All right, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and add that to the blender now. It does make it a full blender, but don't worry, it cooks down. All right, to that I'm gonna add my seasonings. I'm keeping it really, really simple with just salt and pepper. I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna put those in now. A little bit of nutmeg would be good. I mean, you could put a little spice in there. You could certainly adjust those seasonings to how you like it, but this is very simple. All right, so the next ingredient is a whole bulb of roasted garlic. Now, I have a recipe for roasted garlic that I will share with you right up there, so you can make some. It's really easy in the Ninja Foodi, or you could do it in the regular oven. It's perfectly fine. It turns out great. So 1 whole bulb of the roasted garlic. It's sweet. It's not going to be overpowering, I promise you. If you didn't want to roast the garlic, maybe add in 1 clove of just regular garlic. All right, so now I'm going to get these squeezed out here and put each one in. Mine have been in the refrigerator, so it's a little bit harder to squeeze them out. They're really easy when they're warm. All right, now that just adds a really nice flavor to the soup. It is optional though, you don't have to do it. And then the cheese is gonna go in. Now, I have 2 different kinds of cheese, that's optional too. I use a white sharp cheddar in the soup itself to make the base, and then I use a yellow cheddar to grate on top. I have 4 ounces of the white cheddar, 2 ounces of the yellow cheddar. You could use all yellow cheddar, that would be perfectly fine. Use whatever kind of cheese you like. We use a total of 6 ounces in the entire recipe, but 2 are reserved for garnish. You can even use grated cheese, that would be perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna cut these into like little cubes. The reason why I use the white cheddar instead of the yellow cheddar is simply about the color of the soup. I want it to stay a nice green color, and the yellow is gonna kind of muddy that up just a little bit. But if you don't care, you can use all cheddar, it'll be fine. All right, we're gonna push that down. Now, we'll put the lid on the Ninja Foodi blender. Now we want to pulse a couple times. And it's going to take a few times for the bottom vegetables to get chopped up and everything start to kind of drop down a little bit. So just use your judgment how many times. And I just use the pulse button. It's starting to drop down now, see? All right, that looks good. So now it doesn't look like soup at all. In fact, it looks like, oh my gosh, you're gonna need more chicken stock. You will not need any more chicken stock. I promise you, you want this to be a thick and creamy soup. So now we just hit the smooth soup button. and let it go. Then after that is complete, we'll add in the rest of our broccoli, do a little bit of pulsing, and we'll add in a little bit of cream, just a tiny bit. And wait till you see the end result. It is amazing. You would never even know that there's cauliflower in it. It is so delicious and creamy, and it really cuts down on all that fat of the heavy cream and the carbs of the flour that you normally use a roux to make creamy soup. So this is a really great way to make it just a little bit healthier, and it's keto too. All right, so it is all done for the 30 minutes that we did the smooth soup, and it's really blended. It's nice and creamy, very, very steamy. So when you take the lid off, be very careful. There was steam just even coming through this little hole here too. So I could probably just let that cool down just a little bit before I open it up. And what we're gonna do is add in a 1/4 cup of cream. You could add more, you could add less, you could skip it. But the cream just adds another little bit of richness. And it's just a small amount, so I think it's just fine. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's add it right through the little hole here. We can pop our broccoli in, see if it fits, yep. Might have to break that one up a little bit. If you have a lot of stem on your broccoli, take that off for this part because they take a lot longer to cook. We only want to have to cook this another few minutes. So you can do it between 10 and 15 minutes. You could do longer if you like your broccoli softer. So that's totally up to you. So I'm gonna put that back on. And now I'm just gonna pulse a few times. However many times you pulse, it's up to you because it's about how small you want the broccoli. I like good sized pieces of broccoli in my soup, so I don't pulse that much. All right, that's good. So now we're gonna go on the cook mode and we're gonna go on high. And we're gonna go probably about 10 minutes and then I'll taste one of those pieces of broccoli. And if it's done, we're good to go. If it isn't, then we'll just go another 5 minutes until that broccoli is cooked exactly the way you like it. All right, so it's been a little over 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and open the lid, bring out some, and then grab a piece of broccoli so I can test that. It's really steamy. Hopefully I didn't blend the broccoli up too much. No, there's some chunks, okay. All right, let me just get one out here and let it cool off just a minute. But look how thick and creamy it is. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. They're pretty good, but maybe 2 more minutes. I'm heating up some bread to serve with it, so we'll just go a little bit longer. And then we'll be ready to serve up our soup. All right, that should be fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the blender off, open up the lid here, and ladle some out into my bowl. That is so creamy and hardly any cream. That's what I just absolutely love about it. Now my cheese has been sitting out for a little bit, so it's gonna probably be pretty hard to grate, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. So grate some cheese over top, as much or as little as you want. Or you could just stick little cubes in there. That would be really good too. They would melt with the heat of the soup. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right, perfect. Serve it with a rustic piece of bread and you have got a delicious meal. All right, I'm gonna let it cool just a minute and then give it a taste. All right, let's dig in. It's amazing. It is so creamy. You do not taste any cauliflower. It's a great broccoli taste, cheesy taste. Oh my gosh, it's so, so good. That broccoli's cooked perfectly. It was, I think, 13 minutes. And my favorite thing, dip the bread in that soup and wow, amazing. All right, another quick and easy soup for you guys to make in the Ninja Foodi Golden Hot Blender.